I would like first of all to wish a swift recovery to His Majesty King Mohammed VI. If I wanna speak technical about the counterterrorism work throughout the month of June, the first half, besides the program that I have been presenting on my video at the beginning of the month, I would like here to get back to invoke the virtual launch of exploring the use of technology for remote ceasefire monitoring and verification that was presented by Unidir. And if I want to analyze it furthermore, we have to understand that the report examines what technologies solutions are available to help monitor and verify ceasefire. It's a joint publication by UNIDIR's Security and Technology Program and Conventional Arms and Ammunition Program that also provides a series of guiding consideration in order to reflect upon before using technology to aid with ceasefire monitoring and verification. A very interesting program, like I said, in the context of counterterrorism. Looking ahead during the month of June, like I said on the past video, forward to the first meeting of state parties to the treaties on the prohibition of nuclear weapons that will take place in Vienna from the 21st to the 23rd. There is also the conclusion of the Gichero case at the level of the International Criminal Court on the 27th. And of course the NATO summit, which is a key event to follow up with. It's gonna take place in Madrid at the end of the month. I will get back to that during the second half of June as we are expecting negotiations with President Xi Jinping from the People's Republic of China and President Putin from the Russian Federation. I think it's a very important event if we want to decide forward how we can stop the Russian-Ukrainian conflicts. Always from the perspective of the United States and NATO, since I've been speaking about this event, I want to get back also to the African Lion 2022 that is taking place from June the 6th to the 30th, AFRICOM's premier exercise in Africa. It's a strategic partnership. So African Lion is a strategic demonstration of partner commitment to regional stability in North Africa and an excellent opportunity in order to conduct realistic, dynamic and collaboration readiness training in environments at the international of forward geographic combatant commands and strategic maritime choke points and global shipping lanes. I've been speaking about it while I was invoking the situation of the counterterrorism strategy of the Kingdom of Morocco at the beginning of the month. This includes command post exercise, field training, combined arms exercise, special operation exercise, medical readiness exercise, a humanitarian civil assistance program, an air training exercise, airborne joint forcible entry exercise, a maritime training exercise, as well as a hazmat response training, a high Mars fire, and finally an amphibious operations exercise. This concerns a lot of countries. First of all, it's if we want to speak about it on numbers, it's 80 plus support aircraft, budget of $36 million. It includes 2 naval forces from the United States and Morocco, and 7,500 participating service members. Many bodies of the United States Army in terms of combatant and functional commands are involved in this. There are participant countries that besides the context that I invoked, the United States, Morocco and NATO, from Brazil, from Chad, France, Ghana, Italy, the Netherlands, Tunisia, Spain, Senegal, the United Kingdom. It includes also 28 multinational observers. Among that, we mention Angola, Belgium, Benin, Cape Verde, Cote d'Ivoire, Denmark, Djibouti, Egypt, Gabon, Germany, Guinea-Bissau, Japan, Jordan, Kenya, Liberia, Libya, Mauritania, Niger, Nigeria, Norway, Poland, Portugal, Qatar, Sierra Leone, Togo, the United Arab Emirates, and Uganda. Regarding COVID 19, following up, of course, with the evolution of the pandemic, as I mentioned earlier this month as well, and the constant efforts to combat it in the People's Republic of China and the Democratic People's Republic of Korea. Now, moving to the Security Council, I know I mentioned the United States and NATO earlier when it comes to the conflicts between Russia and Ukraine. Very important to get back also to the Security Council in this context of action, but as I have been speaking about it throughout 2022, among the most important things that should be evaluated is the way the council functions. Yes, we have the United Nations General Assembly, which is considered by many countries as a way to democratically speak inside of the UN because it represents all the countries at a glance. Now we get back to the role of the United Nations Security Council. How can it work at the same perspective by including all member states in its mechanism? It's a long-term process. I have invoked this before. We have the permanent members, the non-permanent members, and also the countries that participate in ARIA formula as of now. It's a long-term project, of course, but I believe that it is very important, especially with everything that is ongoing in the world right now. So, first question, what have we learned from the presidency of the United States last month? This will lead us later on to add it to the topic of the United States when I come to speak about governance, counterterrorism, and politics inside of this country. But also regarding many things to expect from the permanent members as a whole when we speak about these transformative potential moves in the Security Council. Looking forward for the next presidency of the United States in August 2023, while assessing how the country have been participating in this one, the one of last month. And from that, also speaking about the presidency of this month, continuous work with Albania. As I mentioned, Albania holds this position for the very first time in history, and that's what must be encouraged, the democracy inside of the United Nations Security Council, by giving chances to countries to hold their voices. Like I said, it's a very big hole to get back into synthesis wise and start elaborating into it for the best of the functioning actions of the Security Council, not just from a security management perspective when it comes to crisis and conflicts. I would like to welcome the members that have been elected as well at the level of this year's elections. That includes, of course, Mozambique, Japan, Ecuador, Malta, and Switzerland. If I want to speak about the upcoming elections, the one of 2023 that will elect members for 2024 and 2025, I can say that from the Africa group there is Algeria. From the Asia Pacific group we have Tajikistan and the Republic of Korea. From the Eastern European group, Belarus and Slovenia. Slovenia have a P5 endorsement of the United States. And from Latin America and Caribbean group we have Guyana. Of course, while speaking about this, there is confirmed candidacy for the election, but as well as a potential bid that will be confirmed in time. For the elections of 2024, holding positions for 2025 and 2026 as non-permanent member. For right now, we can speak about the potential candidacy of the Mauritius from the Africa group, of Pakistan from Asia Pacific group, and from the Western Europe and other groups we have Denmark and Greece. I do encourage furthermore democracy in terms of participation based on the geopolitical aspect, as well as the last time the country have been member of the non-permanent members of the council, because it is a make or break decade and it needs to involve all the member states. Try to make the United Nations Security Council through a transformative strategy looking as close to the United Nations General Assembly when it comes to the objectives that are made of diplomacy interlinked with counterterrorism. Now I'm moving to the United States governance. So, a quick word just to say that most importantly is how to deal with situations as a key question. The United States has to learn from international expertise when it comes to that. I believe that aggressivity, mixed unfortunately with hate and racism sometimes, can put many people in a lot of trouble. After all, you never know what is going to be expected next. Regarding the United States politics, we know that even 2028 is next door with all the repercussions of the pandemic, as I have been speaking about it before. So imagine 2024 or even the midterms of 2022. I would like to welcome Bill Gates as targeting the issue of changing things inside of the United States politics, getting to the root canal of things and really working on it, and the productive conversation in example on preparing and preventing the next pandemic, held with Senator Dick Durbin from Illinois. So very important to improve the critical public health infrastructure and global response cooperation before the next pandemic hits. So this is one of the most important topics when we are basically elaborating that draft of having more town hall at every level in the United States politics. Uh, Before and after the election, one of the most prioritized topics is the one of COVID 19, and I don't think it has had its place that much when the pandemic hit worst in 2020. This really does, of course, to speak about the culture of confrontation in the United States, what I have invoked earlier about the United Nations Security Council's presidency of the United States, the governance inside of the country, and as well as the strategy of counterterrorism and how to deal with it, and politics. So it's about a whole thing that has to be changed, like I said, from the root canal. Still working on several drafts actually within this context of action. Trump said before that hate is too deep. Biden said it's a society of problems. Both make sense. We are us focusing on action in order to move for a long term. It is an ultimatum. As long as we avoid apocalyptic consequences with the pandemic and the conflicts between Russia and Ukraine, we would have achieved something during this decade. C'est qui tout double, like we say in French. Much obliged.